After warmly welcoming them as guests in their countries, the refugees repaid the Germans with mass sexual assault.
One year later,
the mass sexual assault of 1,200 women on New Year's Eve by as many as 2,000 men. The attack had huge political consequences over the year that followed.
Ja, und seit Silvester trage ich halt dieses Messer immer mit mir rum, mich sicherer zu fühlen. Ja.
Vanessa is one of the 1,200 women across Germany who were sexually assaulted or harassed last New Year's Eve.
Mitten in der Menge oder versucht noch weiter reinzugehen und von hinten hat mir halt jemand richtig in den Po reingefasst. Andere haben dann halt an die Brust gefasst und vorne, unten halt, also in den Intimbereich haben die versucht zu fassen und ich habe mich einfach nur, ich weiß nicht, minderwertig gefühlt, wie so ein Stück Dreck, was einfach an die Straße geworfen wird.
The guys who were groping you, can you describe what they looked like?
Ja, das waren halt Typen auf jeden Fall aus dem Ausland, so arabisch, marokkanisch.
We sure do see where their big warm hearts and welcoming arms got them, don't we?
On Tuesday, the German city's mayor Henrietta Rieker said the upcoming annual carnival would not be cancelled. Police numbers are to be increased and temporary mobile video facilities set up. Speaking about last week's assaults, Police Chief Wolfgang Olbers said that officers in the area had reported seeing predominantly young males between 18 and 35 and originating from North Africa and the Arabic area. This, he said, was consistent with the statements of the victims. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has voiced outrage and said the perpetrators need to be found as soon as possible.
Out of the hundreds of individuals investigated by the Cologne public prosecutor, 32 of them were successfully convicted, primarily for property crimes like theft. Ultimately, only 2 men, an Algerian and an Iraqi, were formally convicted and sentenced specifically for sexual assault offenses stemming from that night.
Meanwhile, Rieker cautioned against hasty conclusions. It was, she said, completely improper to link a group that appeared to come from North Africa with the refugees and migrants.
Investigations confirm that the overwhelming majority of early suspects were tied to active asylum status. Out of the 71 individuals whose IDs were checked outside the station on the night of the attacks, the vast majority held temporary asylum seeker certificates. Furthermore, Germany's Interior Ministry reported that 18 of the first 31 suspects identified by the federal police were registered as asylum seekers, a trend that culminated in an official April 2016 data showing that 44% of the 153 core-identified suspects had official asylum seeker status.
6 months later.
The rape and murder of a 19-year-old German student has raised concerns over a possible anti-refugee backlash. The body of the young woman was found on a riverbank in the southwestern German town of Freiburg in October. Tests now reveal that DNA samples appear to link a 17-year-old Afghan boy to the spot where she was attacked. The youth, who arrived in Germany as an unaccompanied minor last year, has been arrested. Vice-Chancellor Sigmar Gabriel has warned Germans via social media not to exploit the crime for incitement and conspiracy propaganda. Chancellor Angela Merkel's open-door policy, which last year saw a massive influx of migrants, has fueled tensions in the country over immigration. The anti-immigration and anti-Islam Alternative for Germany party has since gained ground in local elections. In the last 2 years, there's been an escalation of attacks on migrant hostels, with some even set alight. Regarding the recent murder, a government spokesman has said the culprit must be punished if guilty, but all refugees must not be held responsible.
On July the 18th, a 17-year-old Afghan, who was later shot dead by police officers, seriously wounded 4 people with a knife on a train near Würzburg. 12 people were wounded in a suicide bomb attack in the foyer of a concert hall in Ansbach on July the 24th. It happened when a 27-year-old Syrian detonated a bomb in his backpack. The bomber's asylum claim had been rejected, but he had been allowed to stay temporarily in Germany. Last week, the German police revealed details of 2 planned attacks by a 12-year-old boy of German-Iraqi background. He had tried to set off explosives in his hometown of Ludwigshafen.
Death toll rising to 5, with more than 200 people injured at this point after a vehicle crashed into a crowd here at a Christmas market.
Today's attack came 8 years and a day after a man drove a truck through a Christmas market in Berlin, killing 12 people.
2 people were killed and several others were injured after a gunman opened fire outside of a synagogue in Germany.
The terrorist group ISIS is now claiming responsibility for that horrific stabbing attack in Germany. And word just coming in that there has been a second arrest. Police raiding a refugee housing complex near the scene of the attack. At least 3 people were killed, several others injured.
5 people have been killed in a shooting in the northern German town of Stade.
And after arguing with the AI and forcing the caveat to include the data of foreign-born criminals with German citizenship, because the AI will try to disinclude them, we finally come to the conclusion that official crime statistics and demographic data show that non-German citizens account for roughly 40 to 50% of violent and sexual crime suspects, despite making up only 15% of the population. When extending this to include naturalized immigrants and second-generation descendants, the estimated proportion of non-ethnic German suspects rises to 57 to 65% of the total suspect pool. Within identical age and gender brackets, young male ethnic Germans commit violent and sexual offenses at a lower statistical rate than young males with migrant backgrounds. All of this, the mass sexual assaults, the huge criminal underclass, the dozens and dozens of terrorist attacks could have been avoided by simply being tough on immigration. It's that simple. Would you rather be called racist and fascist and be alive as a culture and people? Or would you rather try to be an empathetic, bleeding heart without a nation, culture, or people? They'll still call you racist and fascist either way. Don't let suicidal empathy destroy your nation, culture, and people.